also how they develop something called a self-image. The image they hold of themselves. Do you know that's one of the greatest problems in the world? People with low self-esteem. Maxwell Maltz wrote a beautiful book on it way back around 1960, I believe, called Psycho-Cybernetics. Psycho-Cybernetics. It's the mind. It's a science of control and communication with the mind, with the mind and some machines. It's a programming. And through repetition, this thing turns into a paradigm. Now, this is what most people are surrounded by. Robert Heinlein wrote a book, Strangers in a Strange Land. He was a science fiction writer back around 1960. He said, in absence of clearly defined goals, we become strangely loyal to performing daily trivia until we ultimately become enslaved by it. Now, that's the way most kids grow up. The parents, the guardians, the environment, they're involved in nothing but daily trivia. And that's what the person's programmed with. The idea of goals, they don't really know what that is. If you had to talk to me about a goal for a good part of my young life, I would have just related to hockey or soccer or something like that, but not a target that you're going to work towards in your life. Now, well, let's keep thinking. Here's the baby. He's getting that programmed in. And self-image is one idea. Paradigm is a multitude of ideas. Now, it seems inconceivable that this person would be living much the same way 20, 50 years later than they are when they're infants. Just accepting what's going on from outside, never questioning, never really think about it, no concept that they can reject it all and originate something brand new. They can build an idea in their mind where they can change the whole world. They don't even know how to change their socks. They're stuck. They're truly stuck. And they go to school and they get more stuck. Now look here. Here's the baby. There's the baby there on the right-hand side. Here's the baby here. Now let's turn the baby back into the only part of the mind that is the baby, is the subjective mind. Okay? That's the only part is the baby. Okay? Baby has no conscious mind. The consciousness has not developed. And whatever's going around this baby, everything that's happening in the baby's environment is going right in directly into that baby's subconscious mind. You see a baby that has a lot of colic and stuff like that? You know that there's not a happy home, that baby. So there's a lot of fighting going on, a lot of bickering back and forth. Not a happy environment. Where there's a lot of love and peace, happy baby. Now you see, it's what's going on here that's dumped right into this baby's subjective mind. And they become a product of the environment. That is how their self-image is built in that early state. And ultimately turns into a paradigm and ultimately controls their life. The paradigm controls the choices. Sandy's going to be showing you something shortly that is very important, and it's tied into what we're showing you here. It's tied into your ability to choose. It's tied into your paradigms. This information is critical in your goals. Make no mistake about it. And I'm going to tell you something. The odds are so high against you leaving here and maintaining the image that you're choosing, it's very slim. You've got to make up your mind that you are going to do it. Doesn't matter how silly it sounds. Carry that coin. Carry the gold card. Read the gold card. Get in touch with your accountability partners. Stay in touch with them every day. And if you say you're going to do something, you got to do it. Your word is like the law. It has to be done. It's very big. You see, they develop. And then school begins. Okay, now watch. School gave us valuable knowledge, no question about it. However, school never taught us how to alter old paradigms. Therefore, we seldom do what we already know how to do. Now, this may sound strange, But a guy that had never sold an insurance policy in his entire life went into the Prudential of America, went into the Metropolitan Life. I got their agents to do something they already knew how to do. How could I teach them about insurance? I'd never been in the business. I knew nothing about it. I would just teach them to do something they already knew how to do. They improved their sales by hundreds of millions of dollars. When I was working in one territory, the people in all the other territories, they were phoning, when can we get him to come here? When can we get him? And there was a lineup. Why? There was such enormous difference. All I was doing was getting people to do what they already knew how to do. I wasn't teaching them to do anything tricky. Do something you already know how to do. This was it. You got to be like this. 9 a.m. in the morning, physical contact, and you got to ask them to buy. That's it. Just ask them. You don't even have to sell them. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, you want to make sure when you put your hand in another person's hand that you are in one hell of a good vibration. Because when you make physical contact, you're really transferring energy. Now, you don't need the physical concept or connection to transfer energy, but when you make the physical contact, that's where we talked about having a doctor having a good bedside manner. It's not just what they say, it's everything about them. Do you agree, doctor? It is. It's essential. Now think. If you don't think this makes a strong connection, go stick a bare wire in a wall socket and hold somebody's hand. They will dance. They will dance. That energy just right through you into them. Now, you don't have to do anything spectacular. You don't have to originate all kinds of things that you don't know anything about and start doing them to get to where you want to go. You just have to start to do what you already know how to do. I'm not exaggerating. If you had to do a lot of things that you don't know how to do, I wouldn't have gone very far, because I didn't really know very much. I just took direction from a man. I did exactly what he said. I ended up multiplying my income almost overnight. We don't do what we already know how to do. So you got a person with superior knowledge, and they have inferior results. What happens then? The person's really smart. They know they're really smart, but the results are terrible. That causes confusion and frustration. Why is that? Well, take a look. There's our model. School gets us to pack the information in. They want to know if you got it, so they give you a test. They ask you questions about all the various books and the information in, and you can answer them all right. You get them all right. But you know something? The results don't match the knowledge that you've got. The results are terrible. The knowledge is phenomenal. You can sit down and talk to a person. They can blow your mind with they're so brilliant. They don't do anything. Useless. Why? They're being controlled by a paradigm. Paradigm's controlling them. It used to really puzzle me when I would see a person that was absolutely brilliant and they were so broke. They had nothing. I know that Walter Castles, he was my lawyer when I first started in business. He used to just shake his head when he see the results I was getting, the amount of money I was earning, the things that I was doing. And I mean, I had absolutely no business experience. Any job I had was laboring type job. But all of a sudden, whoa, just like that. Winning is not a difficult thing to do. And you don't have to be very bright to do it. But you do have to do certain things. Now, if you're stuck, if the results you're getting just aren't what you want, and you know you're capable of doing better, keep your eye on the screen. If you want your results to change, you really want the results to change, there's only one way to do it. Going back to school, gather more knowledge is not your answer. That's never been the answer. You got to get yourself a new paradigm, baby. Do you know what that is? That's the program in your subconscious mind that controls what this instrument does. Your body is an expression of your mind. And understand this: results always tell the truth. By their fruit shall know them is such a phenomenal statement, and it's so accurate. And we try and get out of it. We try and make excuses for these. No. Go look in the mirror. Mea culpa, Paradigm. It's a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. Now, when you go to do this, I'm going to tell you, you're going to hit some rough road. You're going to scare the daylights out of yourself at times. But you got to keep going. You could not afford to stop. There is a place. When you see something, when it just flashes on your mind, maybe in the shower. I get a lot of great ideas in the shower. Water's cleansing energy. As you see it pounding at you, you can have it take out all the impurities out of your system. It's a great place. Okay? It's creative energy. But understand this: when you build an image, there is a place. Don't let it go. Nail it. Now we're going to go, this is what we're going to do. But here's what you want to understand. The moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. You fuse with the idea. Just ask yourself this: do you think I'm fused with the work I do? I'm so fused with it, it's bizarre. I'm one with it, it's one with me. That's what happens. When the moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. This union results in the activation and projection of its plots, plans, conditions, and circumstance. Just like that, everything changes. That new state of conscious awareness becomes your home from which you view the world. Oh, but that's so difficult. That's my home. That's how I view the world. I view the world. I'm financially secure. I'm financially independent. But the truth is, on a physical level, I'm flat broke. I don't have two nickels and a rump together in my pocket. Is it going to be easy to act like I've already arrived? William James from Harvard, way back 1900, he said, act like the person you want to become, the actor's technique. He also said something else. He said, believe, and your belief will create the fact. If you understand the laws, it's not difficult to believe. It's only difficult to believe when you don't understand the laws. It's difficult to believe when you don't understand how everything is created, where it comes from. Understand their laws of creation. So it not only becomes the home from which you view the world, this is your workshop. If you're observant, you're going to see outer reality shaping itself upon the model of your imagination. Now, this is all our imagination at work. This is where I am. I know how I got here. This is where I want to go. This is a place. If it's a place, don't let it die. Hold it. If it dies, bring it right back. Understand, it's a frequency. What you've done, all these frequencies are joined together. Just whoop! It's not even like an elevator. With a thought, you're on the other frequency. This is phenomenal. You and I can do this. You may have never done it before. You may come in here flat broke, no understanding of this. You can do it. You can do it every bit as well as I can. The only prerequisite to go there is you want it. Yeah, when you look at that, and then you may jump and you say, I'm going to go there. Well, you're not going to understand there's a place too. You go there. There's a place too. These are all real places. This is real. We're visiting it for the first time. Maybe that anybody ever went there. And we're using our imagination. That's what we're given the imagination for. Imagination isn't something just kids play with until they get a little older. The imagination, he'll sit, is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force the world has ever known. You have one. It's one of your higher faculties. That was that sacred gift. Should we understand it? Should we exercise it and use it for the good that we want? Live in healthier bodies, have bigger bank accounts, build bigger companies, help more people, grow. I think we should. Or you could go there. There's another place. And that's a frequency too. There's no end. There's another one. And that too is a place. They're all places you can go. Now, what I want to suggest you do is really let yourself relax and start to dream. But as you're doing it, also become aware of how your paradigm is going to fight you.
What a powerful lesson and a great foundation for this entire week. You know, I know Bob always loved to teach paradigms first. And it's because it's so important to understand paradigms before you can understand anything else that we're going to go through this week. Raj, why don't you get into why it's so important that you understand your paradigms?
Sure. You know, paradigms, as Bob stated, is a multitude of habits stored in a section of our subconscious mind. And it controls just about everything we do. It controls our ability to earn money, our use of time, our productivity, our effectiveness. It really controls everything. Like, I want you guys to think right now about money. Who wants to earn more money? And then I want you to think about what you currently have. Well, that's a paradigm. You can change it, but that's a paradigm. And until we change the paradigm, nothing changes. Bob got that so burned in my mind. He used to actually use that term. I'm going to burn this in your mind, you know, because it is so important. I can hear him saying it, you know, until you change your paradigm, nothing changes. Mike, I remember him and I would talk. He could be like the smartest people we'd be working with. That we tell them exactly what to do, and they'll start doing, they stop. And I said, I can't understand why they just are not following through. And he said, paradigms. He said, they're so strong. And they come at us and get us at our weakest moments when we're letting the outside control us. You know, when one permits your present results to control you, your paradigm is in charge. Your paradigm is completely in charge. And that's why we have to be thinking into results where we're thinking from the person we want to become. That's a new paradigm. And that paradigm is going to alter your results.
Absolutely, Raj. You know, I'm thinking back to all the times I've heard Bob teach about paradigms. We've been on Q&A calls or at events. We've been doing 5-day events. And I've seen the questions that are coming in from our clients in our community about paradigms. And they want to understand paradigms. And sometimes so I'm going to go through some of the most asked questions so you can answer them. Sure. One of the most asked questions I see is people think that there's only negative paradigms. And once that they have solved these one group of negative paradigms they have, they'll be all set and they're done with paradigms.
Yeah, well, we have both, you know, like the law of polarity, you know, there's an exact opposite to everything. So if we have negative paradigms, we also have really good parts of our paradigm. Okay. So when we're focusing on it, I choose to really not give attention to the paradigm, because I feel like the more attention I give, the stronger I'm building that paradigm that I don't want. However, we have very good paradigms. You know, if everyone just sits back and thinks for a second, think about something you really appreciate about yourself that you do, you know, and you'll see it. If, like, I don't think it's good or bad. You know, when I put my pants on, it's, you know, my right foot first and my left. That's a paradigm, you know, but I want, and I know we want to make it, Proctor Gallagher Institute, make impact this week where we're getting you to alter your paradigm. And you can alter it like this. You can really do it through a jolt. Like, I've been jolted by Bob in a good way where I've changed my paradigm right away. You know, but most times you change your paradigm through spaced repetition with elite level coaching. You know, the second part's very important. I would have never changed my paradigm if I didn't have the proper coaching. Well, what I mean by that, you're getting the right directions. if you think about it, Mike, we have to think and act like the person we want to become. And I think people will be like, oh, I've heard that before. But that means we have to think and act like that person on an intellectual level, on an emotional level, then on a physical level, the results will manifest itself.
Yeah. Another question that we get often about paradigms is, how do I know what my paradigms are?
To me, that's an interesting question, but this is the best way to know. Just look at your results. Your results will tell you what your paradigms are. And, you want to look at results that you can measure. Look at your body image. How much do you weigh? Okay, that'll tell you what's going on inside on your self-image. If you look at what you're earning, that's something measurable. Anything measurable you could go look at and you could see where your paradigm is. For example, somebody constantly going in and out of debt, that's a paradigm. Somebody constantly making the same choices over and over again. See, what happens is 50% of our day is already automatized. It's already on autopilot. That's already, the belief is already there. And what is a paradigm? It's our belief system. So once we change it, and you will change it if you really want to. The thing is, we want, and we're going to get into this tomorrow, but we want our wants to be so strong. We have to have our wants stronger than the paradigm. If this paradigm is stronger than what you want, the paradigm will always win out, because the paradigm, the imagination is always stronger than the will.
Raj, there's going to be a lot of ideas shared this week. The ideas that Bob shared earlier about paradigms, and he's going to continue to share throughout the week through the lessons that we've pulled for him. And the ideas that you and I are sharing and our special guests are sharing, I would love it if you would tell the story about accepting an idea.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a fun story for me. Years ago, Bob called me to congratulate me on something. And I said to him, and I always joke, you got to be very careful what you say in front of Bob, because I said, I wish I could do it every day. And he said, well, why can't you? I said, I guess I don't know. He said, this isn't rocket science. He says, all you have to do is accept the idea. And I said, that's it? And he said, that's it. And he said, just look at nature. You plant a seed, you focus on what you want, and you get to work. And from that moment, Mike, I accepted ideas right away. And it was like a 3-minute conversation that changed my life. Those are one of the big things. But accepting an idea, I've taught to so many people because it has so much impact. We're accepting our ideas all day long. We want to start accepting ideas of what we want. And we have to be strong enough to say no to anything that is not in harmony with what we want. I'm going to say that again. This is so important. And you have to be strong enough to say no to anything that is not in harmony with your wants. I'm not even talking about your desire yet, because we have to have a want first. And if we start doing that, you're going to start seeing a lot of things change, and your paradigm will eventually change when you get emotionally involved. That's the key to changing the paradigm. You've got to get emotionally involved with the idea and plant it on your subconscious mind.
Absolutely. Raj, here in just a moment, we're going to get to a daily assignment for today. But first, I want to go into your biggest lesson from Bob. So something that I asked everyone to share in a video I posted last week in the group, welcoming them to the Facebook group, is for them to share the biggest lesson that they've learned from Bob if they have one. And so to end today, I would love it if you would share your biggest lesson you've learned from Bob.
Well, I have so many. I'm going to pick the one that just came on top of my mind. And he said, no matter what you do, always be a pro. And he said, a pro is at their best no matter what. He said, it's easy to be at your best when you're not, but a pro is always at its best. He says, it's great. Anyone can have a great attitude when things are going well, but a pro has a great attitude when things are not going as well. And I never forgot that. And that was a lesson that, I'll probably talk about later in the week again when we go over attitude. But that lesson was a life-changing. I took a deep dive into what attitude was, but then I took a deep dive into what a pro is. And I would pepper Bob with questions about what he meant by what a pro is. I knew what it was from my paradigm. I wanted to understand it from his paradigm. And he worked with some of the best. And I believe Bob, in my opinion, is the best teacher to ever walk this planet. And I wanted to pick his mind anywhere I went. And he was a pro. It didn't matter if something was off, he would always be at his best. And he'd always tell me, Mike, on this topic, he'd say, that's just my paradigm. And that's it. And I remember one day I was vacationing and I did something, he goes, what are you working for? And he says, I know it's your paradigm. You have to constantly create results. And he goes, I can understand it. So he said, that's what pros do. And so it goes back to my lesson of how to be a pro.
I love that. That's a great lesson, Raj. Thank you for sharing. Now, to wrap today's lesson up, why don't you give us a daily assignment?
Sure. I'm going to give you guys assignments every day. And they're going to be easy to do. They're going to be easy not to do. But one of the things that I want to really impress on you is the ideas work if you work the ideas. And I'm going to give you some powerful lesson if acted on. So today, to start us off, what I'd like you to do on paradigm is write out on a piece of paper the paradigms you would like to change, the habits that you really want to change that are part of your paradigm. And then I would like you to burn it. And I would like you to send a picture and attach to your success advisor seeing it burn. And then I want you to get out another piece of paper and I want you to write the opposite of it in the present tense. For example, if somebody says, I want to have the one they're burning is, I'm sick and tired of being in and out of debt. The opposite is I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm financially free doing what I love and loving what I do. And you could make a list of them, but really do this because this is the starting point. We got to eliminate what we don't want and we got to focus on what we want and we've got to bring our wants up to the surface.
Absolutely. I love this assignment and I want to stress, do this safely, be responsible, and we can't wait to see your pictures, upload them into the Facebook group, tag your success advisor, just like Raj said, and it's going to be awesome to see all your burning ceremonies because we know what comes next, which is transformation. So this has been an incredible day one, all about paradigms. This is just the beginning, just the foundation. We've got an incredible week planned for you. Tomorrow, we're going to get into a lesson on goals and mindset. You're not going to want to miss it. So join us right here at 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll be live with you. And if you want to catch today's replay, it'll be under the guides, but only for 7 days. So make sure you watch that as quickly as possible. And we'll see you tomorrow. Raj, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.